everyone. Good afternoon. Come on in, join me today as we talk about positioning you in your purpose in the midst of crisis. Let me see you guys join in. I am so excited. Please get your lunch. You can eat. This is a conversation on our lunch break today. And it's such a good time. We are in such a time where we need to be very intentional about our well-being, our mental health, and taking time to just have conversations. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Ose Sesay, and I am the head strategist of Push Strategist LLC. We are a consulting company that pushes people into their purpose. And how do we do that? We focus on career coaching, especially for foreign professionals around the globe, helping them build a career right here in the US. We also focus on investing opportunities, teaching and training people how to invest, especially in unique and amazing places like Africa and other international places out of the US. In addition to that, we focus on coaching entrepreneurs. We want to build generational wealth in the areas of business, career, and beyond. And we know that entrepreneurship is a big piece of that, as well as we work with companies. We train them, we coach them, and develop their areas of immigrants coming into these companies, building a way and giving them a seat at the table. So I am just super excited today. I will tell you guys, I have been preparing for this. I just cannot wait to hear and have you guys be part of this conversation and to position you in purpose and crisis. So we're going to take a few minutes. Thank you, Gabby, for joining in. I also want to mention to you guys too as well, we're launching Push today along with this conversation. So I want you to go check out pushstrategist.com. There is everything you need to know about getting into purpose and the things I just touched on that we are here to service you. And as a gift for our launch, we are offering free 15-minute consultations to anybody who joins us, signs up for our newsletter. We will be able to set up a time and talk to you and see how we can position you in purpose. So I am big about being on time, especially when it's about business. When we want to get into purpose, we have to be on time. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to jump right in. And I want us to first talk about what I mean by positioning ourselves in crisis. First of all, what's the crisis? As we all know, there is a lot going on. Hi, Etipiso. Thank you for joining. There's a lot going on in our world right now. We're facing a lot of different crises. We started off this year excited to be in a whole new 2020, looking for having vision. There were so many things out there about changing our vision just changing and focusing this year. And then boom, hey, Eddie, we had COVID come up. That was a pandemic that we're still dealing with now around the world that just kind of shook us like, okay, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to manage? We've had to shut things down. People lost jobs. And it was definitely a crisis that we're still impacted by today. And then in most recent weeks, I know we are all familiar with George Floyd. If you don't know that name, then you must have been hiding underneath a rock and you need to get up because George was murdered by those who are supposed to protect and serve us, the police right here in Minneapolis, where I am located, and it has been an emotional roller coaster around the world. We have heard the rumblings from different lands of people saying they are tired. They are tired of racism, the evil of it, and what it is doing. For decades, for years, we've been working on trying to break this monster of racism, and I feel different about this time. I'm just hoping and praying that we are able to see justice in all of this. Ahmaud Arbery, I'm just naming the two recent. There has been so many, and imagine those that there weren't cameras to catch. There weren't to catch the murders. There wasn't justice that came in all those situations. And then now we're just in a place of crisis. It's so much going on. And I don't want our lunch break, the time that we're supposed to be relaxing, hi to Linda, to for us to get focused on that. It's very important. But the point of this is finding our purpose in crisis and seeing what we can do to change these narratives. So we're in the midst of all this crisis, all this pandemic, anger, frustration, pain, grieving, as we've seen the loss of these amazing Black men. What are we to do? What we are to do is to get into places of influence to make change. Every single one of us, every single one of you watching now has a purpose. We are all created uniquely by God. And it's a big puzzle piece, the whole world. And we each have a part to fit in. And that is my passion. That's what I'm called to as your push strategist. My joy is seeing people get into purpose and doing what they love. And I don't want you guys to let this year that we have been in crisis and stress and fear, and people have lost loved ones in this pandemic, people feel defeated. I don't want you to not use all of this for the good. And the way you're going to be able to do that, hey, Jillian, is to get into position of purpose. We have the 7 mountains that influence the world: government, media, arts and entertainment, business, education, religion, and family. If you look at culture, those 7 mountains influence everything. We can sit back and we can go through this pain and we can let another event happen that we're going to be back in this space, or we can take all of this. And as I'm feeling, people are fed up. We're even getting those who have committed these heinous acts and who have been ignoring them to actually stand up now and say, yes, we acknowledge. We're seeing corporations, people who didn't ever use their voice, they're now speaking truth. So we're in a time where we're actually opening the eyes. God is opening the eyes of people to say, yes, I repent. We have been ignoring what has been happening for years and years throughout history for Black people. And I want us to position ourselves in those 7 mountains to be able to make lasting change. So, like I said, those 7 mountains are the places of influence. And if we want to change the narrative for Blacks in America and Blacks around the world, if we want to change the narrative, good afternoon, Obina, for brown people and minorities around the world, what do we have to do? Get a seat at the table. We have to be change agents. So I want us to take all of the feelings, all of the pain, all of the frustration, all of the grief, and put ourselves in position to get a seat at the table. And that is where Push Strategist is. That's what Push Strategist is about. My goal is to create opportunities to help you identify what your purpose is, to give you knowledge and things that you weren't aware of to build generational wealth for your family. Barack Obama has a quote that I love, and it's just so perfect for what we're discussing. And it reads, "Change will not come if we wait for someone else or some other person to do it, or for some other time. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." So it's just vital that we be that change. How do you be that change? Get into position of purpose. There is a lot of people who are in positions now in those 7 mountains: government. I'll leave it at that. Media, arts and entertainment, business, education, religion, and family, who are not positioned to be there. And the reason I can say that, there's a lack of compassion. There's a lack of care. There's a lack of empathy. That is not of God. We are created to love one another. We are created to see wrong and speak truth and change, especially when we're in places of influence. And the problem that's even making this crisis worse, you guys, is that the people who we should look to for encouragement, who we should look to lead us and see change, make changes, are not even purpose for their positions. So we're adding on even more. Hey, Adia. Hey, Claudia. We're adding on even more to all of this, with looking up to leaders who aren't even leading us effectively. And let me stop and say, you guys, please share this with those you know, share this out there. I really want to encourage people on this lunch break today. So please make sure you take a minute to share. But we are dealing with leaders who aren't even using their influence for good. So it's time that we rise up and be change agents. Let us be the change we seek. You all have so much potential to be and do and make changes in your community. There's some of us that's called in the medical field. There's some of us that's called in education. Even if your name is not known around the globe, the changes you make today by getting in position and standing up for what's right and speaking your truth and doing what you love, you notice when you're doing what you love and what you're called to, it brings something out of you that you didn't even know was possible. The fact of me even getting up here, getting on this live, like it took so much to put this together. I had some late nights. I didn't sleep for a few nights, like just 4 or 5 hours, because I'm so passionate and I'm so driven to help people understand how important their voice is, how significant they are in the world that made them feel like George, he wasn't significant by kneeing on his neck and killing him. He was significant. We are all significant. And the way that we're going to be able to see ourselves and see this world change in race relations and all the other areas that we're seeing crisis in government and so forth is by getting into position. So how are we going to do this? How are we going to position ourselves? Getting involved in your communities, joining boards, starting mentorship groups, starting businesses that are going to be able to say, hey, we're not going to tolerate, we're going to give everybody a chance on our table. These are ways to do it. And let's be honest, guys, we're in a world where money does talk. You need to have financial backing for what you believe in. Of course, God first, and he uses the tool of money to position us. So we need to get in a place where we're in a financial position to also use that to push change. So all of this, we found out the crisis we're dealing with. We talked about the 7 mountains of influence. How are we going to now go from here to make the changes to see our world be in a better position? First, you're going to start off by reaching out to me and the many others who are out there who are helping to coach and guide us into the areas that we're called to. Push Strategist, I really am so passionate about working with minorities and immigrants around the world. I did this for several years and it just was something that I fell in love with. I saw just how much by equipping and holding somebody's hand through the credentialing process, bringing them over here to the U.S., putting them in jobs and career fields where they're able to make a difference. I saw the change that not only did for those individuals, for their families and their communities. I saw so many people groups help one another in their communities as I helped hundreds and hundreds of people come to the U.S., get a visa and change the culture that they're in. Many of them even went back to their home countries and made such a difference. These are the things that we have to do to position ourselves in purpose, and this is how I want to help you. So if you know immigrants out there, if you yourself are trying to figure out what type of role, what kind of career can I get into to get to my calling and get into purpose, we're here to help you. When we talked about financials being such a big part about making change, we offer opportunities where we are teaching how to invest in markets like Africa. My fellow Push Strategist, my husband, Imran Sasay, is captaining that area. He's a strategist that is going to help support and teach you what it looks like to invest in Africa. I think some of the reservation is that people just don't understand practical ways of investing. You don't need a lot. And it's by taking these little steps and starting off just with educating yourself and learning about these areas, you're going to see yourself grow and you're going to get into influence to change the narrative that we're seeing. We also are offering corporations in a time where we're trying to diversify. We see what's going on. For so long, people of color have not gotten the same opportunities of our white counterparts. How are we going to be able to change that? By teaching and training corporations. I love teaching. I love training. I love doing PowerPoint presentations and educating people to know how easy something that seems so difficult can be. So businesses out there that are interested in figuring out how can we start to make sure that we're giving our people of color, giving Black people a seat at the table when they're very qualified, overqualified a lot of time for the opportunity, but because of the color of their skin, they can't get it. Reach out to me. I'm here to help you. I want to teach you and show you how you cannot use your judgment. You can't be judgmental to somebody by the color of their skin. We're also, which I'm also really excited about, just here to motivate you. I am also launching a podcast as well this Thursday. So I want you guys to check out my podcast. It's called Push Talks, where we'll have conversations like this and we talk about ways that we can get to purpose, things that hinder us from purpose. Sometimes it's just our own mental state, thinking we're not good enough. And like I told you guys in the beginning of this, you are good enough. You are good enough. Hey, I see so many people joining in, and sorry, I'm like trying to multitask and acknowledge you all while still staying on task. So thank you guys all for joining. Please make sure you share this. So with all this being said, I am here to service you. My job is to help you use this crisis to position yourself in purpose. I want to not only provide opportunities for my immigrants and foreign professionals. I don't want to only provide opportunities for corporate training and development for those who need to understand the importance of diversifying their workforce. But my number one that I love, that's part of me, is entrepreneurs and future entrepreneurs. I started my business and started into the world of business in 2013. When I turned into that corner of entrepreneurship, I knew my life wouldn't be the same. I knew it was what I was called to, what I was purposed to. And I want to help those who are aspiring to be entrepreneurs, as well as those who are in the field right now, how to grow their businesses, how to excel their businesses, how to make sure that they are too operating in their best selves and best purpose so we can see the change that we need in this culture. So there's so much more that we offer. I don't want to focus on just that. I want to focus on encouraging you guys and letting you know that you have to be the change that you're looking for in this time. If you want to see change, get involved in your communities. I am doing everything I can to get involved with my daughter's school, using my voice. Hold those people around you in your religious-based organizations accountable. Make sure your pastors are talking about this truth and they're not pretending that it doesn't exist. Racism is real. And I am so excited, especially being here in Minneapolis, that when I went out and protest, to see such an array of colors of people saying justice for Floyd. Not only just for Floyd, but every person who has lost their lives trying to stand up for the purpose of people in the African community and Black Americans, Blacks and overall, Africans overall. Thank you for all of you who are speaking the truth. Thank you for those who are saying we were wrong. Thank you for finding repentance in your heart and saying, I want to be part of the change. Thank you. But for all of us who have been into the position where we've been put in the back, it's time we're moving to the front, you guys. God is making the first the last and the last the first. So you have to get into your position of purpose, and I am here to hold your hand all the way through. So you can find me. Before I close, make sure you go and like my page on Facebook, pushstrategist.com. Make sure that you go on Instagram as well and like us there. We are also, our site should be live as soon as we get off here. So make sure you check out the site, see in details what we offer, set up a time where we can do a free consultation by signing up on our website. Free 15-minute consultation we're doing for the month of June. So I want you to be a part of that. And look to even hear more from me with my podcast, Push Talks, that will be available on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and so many other mediums. I'll make sure that it's on the website so you guys can all access it. This is only the beginning, you guys. It's the beginning for me starting this new venture, and I'm so grateful to God that it aligned with this time. I've been working on this for a long time. And when I chose this time for it to launch, I had no idea what was going to be going on in our culture and in our time and in our day. But I am so grateful to say that I am here to push you towards your purpose. Let's use everything we're going through, to position ourselves in purpose to be the change that we seek. So God bless. Thank you all for joining me for your lunch. Make sure you get back. You want to be on time to work, or go make that run to the post office, or whatever it is you have to do. And I am so grateful that you even took your lunch to meet with me. Look forward to me doing more lunch and learns with your push strategist. And God bless. Thank you all, and have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are located.